It's mixed. There's a sunshine and there's heavy clouds scattered all over the place. The weather is going to degrade now quite quickly for us the next couple of days. We have a typhoon warning here today, and Tokyo is sandwiched. It seems there are 3 typhoons out there right now, number 9, 10, and 11. And number 10 is going to brush us later this evening and tomorrow. We're going to get brushed. So no danger, but it's going to be wet, 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 and a bit cooler hopefully, and probably quite windy. Typhoon trifecta in there. Gold, silver, and bronze, whatever. Okay, we're going to actually do some work today. We're going to be working today. There are lots of sidetracks, but nothing I can do on the stream here. Biggest sidetrack was yesterday morning. I got a phone call from Kubota-san. We had sent, he's back with us doing some work this month. And bad phone call. He said, sorry for this. You're not going to want to hear this, but the paper you sent me yesterday for the job I'm supposed to do, it's all pilling up. Something's wrong with the sizing. Went back to my books, and I thought I did a normal sizing. Did I make a mistake? I mismeasured the Nikawa. I don't know. No idea. So anyway, I had to replace. This was yesterday. He phoned me. He's sitting there waiting for work. So last night, after the work was finished here, I had to do some more sizing. The paper is hanging up. This morning, I got to get it and get on the train and get it over there. There's no time to wait for shipping it. That means 1 day work lost. And when guys like this come on board to work for you, you don't do anything that leaves them sitting there for 1 day. For him to lose a day's work is $250, $300 thrown away. So I'm going to have to get on the train, grab it over there. And Karen's asking, if he sends it back, can I fix it? I don't know, because I haven't seen it yet. I know there's 2 problems involved. One problem is you don't really know how much sizing is in there, but when you try and add some more, it doesn't soak down inside. It just sits up on top because the paper is now protected. So it's not just like I put 50 grams on first, now I can do X more grams to bring it up. It doesn't work like that. But the other problem is it's all cut. It's all cut into small pieces for printing. So you can't size it and hang it up because the clips screw it all up. So I don't know. We may have some paper that is just unusable. What would I do with it? I don't know. Anyway, let's get some work done. Before I get some work done, this. Clearly somebody on the stream here has had a bit too much free time. I found this yesterday on the office upstairs, so I don't know when this has happened. But given that we were just talking about this the other day, I was on my way upstairs to the 3rd floor yesterday, passed through the office on the 2nd floor, and these 2 boxes are sitting on the table in the office. What used to be Cameron's space. And it's 10 markers for red in fluorescent oil-based markers, and these are water-based markers, fluorescent markers in red, 10 of each. No identifying names, no nothing. It came from Amazon here, and it says the sender was Mokuhankan, which is not true, and then there's a message, as you saw. Hope these my work day. Best wishes. So somebody out there, thank you very much. You're a bit late for this one. I've sent it all the way to Kawasaki-san. But yes, we have 10 and 10 of 2 different types. We will definitely give them a try. I don't know if they don't die sitting in here before I get a chance to use them. They're marked, it says the same thing. After use, securely fasten cap to avoid drying out, So thank you. We will give these a try. I don't know. Is somebody going to confess to this? Fly fish for fun. Is it you? I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for pushing me here into this, and Kawasaki-san will thank you very much too when she gets it. So. You could have put your name in here, you know. Or maybe it was, whatever. No, no identification at all. Okay. Anyway, thank you again. Thank you very much. Benefactors, patrons, Patreons, you know, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know, I hesitate to even talk about that word because every time I mention it, it sounds like we're trying to boost it or something. But the Patreon that we have running has astonished us. And it's just the first of the month, so we got our monthly check from Patreon just the other day on the 5th. We pull it down on the 5th. And this past month, it has grown quite well. You know, it's incredible. It's grown amazingly. So thank you very much for those of you who are in that stuff. So. Okay, let's do a bit of work. There are some distractions today. I have, of course, the normal show and tell. We're going to pick that up towards the end of the stream. And there's a couple of interesting prints to show in the show and tell today. We're not talking about socks, you know, blowing anybody's socks off, but there are a couple of interesting prints in the show and tell. Well, one really. But other than that, I got a package today here. It came late yesterday afternoon, and it's from America. And we'll open it sometime partway along. It's not really show and tell type stuff, but we'll open it partway along. I teased it to the mods here. The mods are a little bit in on the story here. I teased it to the mods. Oh, it's from you, is it? The Rush fan? All right. So I can't say your name to say thank you because, you know, that's not permitted in a place like this. All right, thank you very much. I'll drop you. I don't know. Can I drop you a note or is it going to result in more chaos? I don't know. So, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Dave, do some work, at least some work. Do some token work. I can't believe when we started this streaming, when was it, back in 2017? No, I don't remember. This is the 4th year we've been doing this streaming. And when I first did it, I was so, wow, this is so cool, this is so hip. I tried to do it 5 days a week, twice a day. I did one in the morning and one in the afternoon, late afternoon, and I did it 5 days a week. I don't remember actually how long that lasted. I could look at the preserved streams and have a look at it, but I must have been just crazy, whatever. Or I didn't realize. I probably had the idea to do streaming. What you do is it's just your normal work. You put the camera on and you ignore it. And you just get on with what you're doing. So it didn't take any extra time or effort or whatever, you know, just sit down at the bench, sharpen your blade, put the camera on, carve for a while, turn the camera off and go away. It didn't turn out to work like that, so, but we actually did. The other reason it wasn't possible was that the morning sessions, like the ones you see now, there's nobody else around, so I can schedule it, get up and do this, and it's, you know, basically every day the same thing as long as I'm here. But when I tried to do it in the late afternoon, that of course became impossible. We had the shop, we had print parties, we had people, we had stuff going on all day, and I was insane to even think about it. So I think the current system of doing this in the morning, 3 days a week, it works. The time I know is not convenient for a lot of people out there. Europeans are not happy with this. They would like me to be doing this at a different time of day, at least sometimes. And I guess I really should, if I was honorable about this, I should work out, not to change the time for everybody, but given that we're doing it 3 times a week, it might make more sense to do, well, at least one of those sessions or something at a different time of day that was more user-friendly for Europeans. I really should actually give more thought to that, but for me, just having the routine. Okay, for those of you who are not sure exactly what's going on here, I should zoom in, shouldn't I? Soka. Sorry about that. Dave, pay attention. Pay attention. For those who are just getting into this here, what we've got is we've got a print that will look something like this. And as part of this print, there is a block that has the rain markings. Actually, this is an old set of blocks. We have the old blocks. One is missing. So Dave here is trying to recreate the missing rain block. And the rain block is simply a set of sort of, not really straight lines, but sort of straight lines matching the other colors. And to carve them here, it's sort of, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about a 4 or 5 step process. I've already carved the other day. I cut one side of each of these lines all the way down. And I'm now doing the second stage of the process. I'm taking away the waste wood near where each one of those cuts were made. And I'll be finished that in a few minutes here, and then we'll flip it all over and start the other side of these lines. Let me get it lined up properly here. I'm sorry, I didn't get the camera set up properly. Is that going to be better if I'm carving here? That's going to be online. Okay. Did Dave finish the tiger? Ask me about that. Well, I have it. No, the first group, Ishikawa-san's group of tigers, is already packed. They're already on the way to the first group of subscribers, Ishikawa-san's group of tigers. I got last night from Sugasan's group of tigers. We've split the printing run. We print 200 each month. We split them into 3 groups. We do 80, 80, 80, which gives us a clear total of 200. And Cameron splits the subscription billing into the 1st of the month, the 11th, and the 21st. So the people who got their invoices on the 1st of the month, that was Ishikawa-san's print, and they are on the way. This group now, this is Suga-san's print. She's got them all banded, and she's got her little note at the back that says no good. She thinks a half a dozen or so are no good. And then Dei-chan, who is doing the 3rd group, the one for the people who get billed on the 21st of the month, she's upstairs. She'll be coming in. You'll probably see her come in on the camera. She'll be working upstairs today. So here is one from Suga-san's batch. They have come out, I think, very, very nice. It's a quiet print. It's not a rip-roaring, flesh-ripping tiger. It's a quiet print. We've done it in a quiet mood. And they did not find this easy to print at all because of the mix of very fine lines and areas that should have been fairly dark. If they printed with super delicate touch, places like this and this wouldn't have been dark enough. And for those of you who were curious or upset about this or angry about this last week, the claws, I cut out 1, 2, 3, and I did cut out the 4th claw. When I was just looking at the key block, I really wasn't sure if it was a claw or not. Once we had done test printing, it's clear, obviously, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes, thanks to those who were yelling at me about this, I did cut the 4th claw. Was it you, Karen? I don't know. I don't remember. And there is color in the eyes. You probably can't see it under the light we've got here right now, but when you get the print, you look at it, it's going to be the kind where you can say, is it printed there or is it not printed there? And that's what I told the girls. I told Suga-san, I want people to say, is there color there or nothing there? I can't quite tell. And that was their mission, and they did print it. I think we came out okay, you know. You've seen me do all this. You saw me carve these first roughly, and then you saw me fix them bit by bit by bit. There is a 4th claw, and the colors are so light here you can barely see the difference. But yes, the claws are bare paper, and there are 4 claws there. And these guys are getting so good at this, you know. Suga-san, just I don't want to disrupt her pattern, her package here, you know. So she had 80 sheets of paper. The 3 ladies each get 80 sheets. They do a few test sheets, so there won't be 80 here. There will be 76 or something. She feels a few of them are no good. I'm not going to show them to you. Although almost certainly I end up taking stuff out of the no good and putting it back in the good. Here we are. There's a pigment blot at the bottom here. So that actually will have to be defective, I guess. So anyway, there you go. Thanks for reminding me about this. Thank you. That's my job this afternoon, to check these all over and send them off to Ome. Sorry for the disruption. It's on a base tone sky tiger eyes key block. It's five impressions, that one. And the printing order, they first print the base tone. What you see is the ground over the whole thing. Then they next print the sky area. They next print the body of the tiger. They next print the key block. So the key block comes 4th, and then for the last stage, they put in the eyes. So it's 5 impressions. This is the V cut that pops out the waste wood, and as we were talking about this the other day, we don't normally do these V cuts. We just do the cut, we cut the lines and then use chisels to take out the waste wood in between them. But this block is really, really delicate, sensitive wood, and I do not want to just come roaring up here with a chisel. The chances of popping off part of these lines is really just too great. So I'm going to the extra time and trouble of popping off these V's first, and that'll give me the line exposed where I can see it, and so again, we normally don't do this step. It's a waste of time, you know. But the time I'm wasting doing this V is time I would save by not having to repair clicks and pops on these lines. So. Someone's asking, did the key block go fourth? See, with the tiger print, right? Why did we print the key block fourth? Nothing to do with keeping the edges of the black lines crisp. It makes no difference. Print it first, print it fourth, print it 10th. It's still the same as wear and tear. We did it this way because when you print a black key for a print, if it's grayish black, we're okay. Then you print the colors, it's all right. But if the key block is quite a black, then you print that first. Then when you go ahead the next day and the next day and the next day to print the colors, sometimes the key block gets a bit fuzzy and distorted. The pigment actually squeezes out, because when there's a line on the key block, the color blocks quite frequently end on that line. And the end of the color block then gets lots of pressure and it squeezes out. It's called nijimu. The color blurs a little bit. So for the girls here, they did the key block after the colors to avoid it blurring. That's reason number one. Reason number two is by doing all those colors, the paper becomes smooth and flat. Remember, the paper that we get has a really, really rough surface on the top. And if you do the rough surface first with a really delicate line key block, you can't do it. The delicate lines don't come out because the paper's too rough. But by having all the colors done first, they did the paper flat, flat, flat. Then the paper is dead flat, and they can print that key block and just kiss it. Doesn't have to take a go. So it gives you your delicate lines. They stay where they are. And we were able to do the key block last because there was no complex tiny areas registration. So because of this, they decided to do the reverse order. There's lots of ways to kill the cat here, and how's our time? I'm getting nothing done. It's a half an hour already, and I've cut 3 lines. I don't know. I don't know. Yesterday, Friday here, I got absolutely nothing done. I knew. I got absolutely nothing done. The tax deadline is drawing closer and closer and closer, and I've got absolutely nothing done. So today I'm supposed to be working on the bookkeeping, but now that sizing problem has jumped in, and this is my life, firefighting every day. I should just get the uniform. That's what I do. I fight fires just every day. There is a tiny bit of news to report, though, among all of yesterday's different events and activities. I'm not sure how much I talked about this before. I showed you an illustration of one of the print shops near here. There's a couple of other print shops in Asakusa, some of which are very, very old, and they are not doing well during this pandemic because they have no online presence. So yesterday we had a visit. I had phoned him up and chatted with him on the phone for a little bit, and yesterday we had a visit from the owner of one of those print shops. And they're not actually in trouble. They've closed both of their 2 shops, but they are an old established family business, and these are the people that run the museum up in Matsumoto. And they have, they have means and resources, these guys. So they're just going to hunker down. They're not going to bankrupt or sell everything or whatever. But their daily activity of having these 2 shops has now been put to bed for the foreseeable future. Anyway, he came over yesterday at my invitation, and I popped the idea that we would put some of their older prints, their Meiji Edo prints, which they sell, we would put some of that into our own catalog as a partner shop. And he says, is that okay? And I'm like, sure, why? It benefits me because I don't have anywhere near enough old prints in our catalog. And if it benefits you to have them exposed, and he's like, yeah, sure, let's do this. So we talked about the details and the money and how it's going to work out and all that kind of stuff and who's going to take the pictures and blah, 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 blah. And he's gone off and he's going to bring back sometime in the next week or 2 weeks, he's going to bring back a sample group of prints that we will carefully photograph and package and prepare English descriptions for and put into our online catalog as a partnership. And it's the kind of prints that we just don't have access to ourselves. These are a bit more upscale Edo era prints. Most of the things in our own shop are things that we've made ourselves, or like the print I'm working on right now, prints using old blocks, or we buy antique prints where we can afford them, and ones that are in good condition, we put them in our shop. But we have no expertise at the top end of the thing. And that's not where we're going to start. He's not going to bring me prints that are going to sell for $10,000. He's going to bring me a bunch of prints that are going to sell for $3, $4, $5, up to $1,000, something like that. You know. Reputable Edo era prints, originals. Mostly from the 18th century. 18th. And we intend to learn a whole lot. A bunch of prints that we don't really have access to normally. So we're going to learn. We're going to learn a lot. So. Notifications pouring in here. Rule 34. I don't understand the conversation there. I don't know Rule 34. I'm sorry. It's okay. No, not like the Doi Hanga thing. This is a misunderstanding. Doi Hanga is a publisher. They are making prints from blocks that they own. The blocks that they own were mostly carved back in the pre-war period and immediate post-war period. And the lady who owns Doi Hanga owns these blocks. So she hires printers to make prints from them, the same way that Dave does here. And Doi Hanga sells newly made prints from their blocks. And we put them in our shop because they have no physical shop to sell prints. So we simply buy from them wholesale. They're a publisher, and we sell retail. That's the Doi Hanga company. Now this is different. The arrangement we're going to have with Sakai Codo, they also do publish some stuff. They have their own Great Wave, for example. We are not looking at those. We are not going to carry those in our shop. We're not so interested in that. But they also, in their own business, because they have 100+ year history, part of their business is dealing in the antique prints. They've been buying and selling Edo era prints for, like I said, somewhere around 100 years. And that's one part of their business, and that's the part that we are going to cooperate with. We've asked them to bring over a bunch of antique prints, original Edo Meiji era work. And those will be appearing in our online shop. And he and I, we talked about it yesterday. We're going to split the revenue. You know, I'm going to take X percent and he's going to take X percent. They are his prints, but we are the ones who are going to be doing the actual bringing them to the world and packaging and photography and everything else. So it seems it's going to be a bit of a win-win, and from our point of view, we're going to learn a whole bunch, because although I have access to lots of 20th century prints and Adachi and Takamizawa, that kind of stuff, I myself don't have a whole lot of experience dealing with Edo era originals. We have some here, but I don't have all that much experience myself. So this is going to be very much learning for us as well. Then once the pandemic's over, ha ha ha, and they reopen again, ha ha ha, maybe we will stop doing this. I don't know. And it's possible, we were chatting about this here, after Mr. Sakai left, we were sitting, me and Aoyama-san and Watanabe-san, we were chatting about that. She's getting ready for doing the photography. But But the idea then was on the table. If this is actually a little bit successful, if people out there do end up being interested in this, and if we end up being an important part of our business, we could then go to some of the other shops in the Jimbocho area. There's 3 or 4 dealer shops in the Jimbocho area that do sell lots of antique prints. They have wonderful stock of prints, but they have no overseas presence. So it's an idea, just this is at the moment, this is just an idea in the back, that Mokuhankan could become a window. We could expand our partner shop proposal so that Mokuhankan's web shop became a partner shop for Yamada Shoten or Harashobo or lots of the other places. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All part of our plan for world domination. Are there any copies of the octopus? We have lots of the octopus. I have some right here. I'm not going to show it right now. The octopus is in stock. It's easy to print for us. The octopus is always available. Flyfish is asking an interesting question, and the staff asked me that a while ago, and I said, I'm not going to go there. So, octopus orders do not make an audible sound on this. Period. And we're not going to go there. Yeah, Harashobo is okay. I'm not trying to diss these guys. What I'm saying is, but they have a website, but what they don't have is a presence. They don't have, the ability to show and talk and tell and show the things. So they have Yamada Shoten too. They have a website, but how much business they do from it, whatever, I don't know. Anyway, as I said, it's just an idea in the background. If this turns out to be something that we do and it comes out well, would they be reproductions or originals? The prints that we're talking about getting in this new partner shop, these would be Edo and Meiji era original prints. There are many, many, many left in Japan still. Huge amounts of them left in Japan. And it's a part of the business that we ourselves just haven't gone into because I personally don't have so much experience with it. So we haven't tried to go that way. Remember, most of our efforts here, most of our daily work is making prints. We're a publisher. We're not going to forget that. That's still our main thing here. Making prints, keeping craftsmen busy, bringing new interesting stuff into the world. That's our core business here. This wood is brittle, This is one brittle piece of wood. And this place right here, I think there was a knot in the original piece, and this is going to be dicey. This is touch and go here. That's touch and go. We may already, I'm not sure, we may already have lost a piece of that original line. I'm not sure. That's going to be touch and go. So I was asking, is Jed working on some Ghibli woodblock prints? Jed is working on Ghibli designs. I won't even say parody designs. If you go to Jed's website, Ukiyo-e Heroes, all one word, ukiyo-e-heroes.com, Jed now has a whole bunch of designs based on different scenes from Ghibli animated movies. They were not going to become woodblock prints here in our workshop. Maybe William will work with him on some of those. I don't know. I know Jed and I are not going to work on them. To me, they are not enough. They're not enough parody. He is just, there are some Ghibli scenes and some Ghibli characters, and it's the same kind of thing he did for Star Wars a couple of years ago. He took some Star Wars characters and made designs using them. And we didn't go for it at this end to turn them into woodblock prints for a few reasons. I know, to me, they were just not the kind of, in the spirit of the kind of prints that Jed and I made a number of years ago, the rickshaw cart print and stuff like this, which to me was Jed's. It was an astonishing burst of creativity, and those prints, those designs were really worth making into woodblock prints. But some of the newer ones that Jed is doing to me are I don't know, what's the word, more casual and stuff. Not enough parody. But yeah, if you're interested in Jed Henry plus Ghibli, go to the ukiyo-e-heroes.com website. I know he's got lots of them there. And maybe some of his other team, the new people Jed has been helping to support and train. William Francis, Steve Winiecki, the young man from Mexico, I can't remember his name. They're going to maybe be working with him on some of those. So yeah, maybe there are going to be Ghibli woodblock prints, but not from us here. Almost done. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rain lines left. Then we'll switch the block around and start the other side. Jed and I are still trying to figure out, I don't know if I should talk about this, we're still trying to figure out what to do for next year. I know there are a raft of ideas on the table for next year's subscription series. A raft of ideas. And in a part of it is it's a little bit of an embarrassment of riches. Should we do plan A? Should we do plan B? What about project C? And I have to tie together a whole bunch of things on what I think Jed can do as far as making interesting images, what would fly in the market, what people would like to see us make, what the people upstairs, the young ladies upstairs, what they will like to be making, and what they would find to be a chore. So I'm trying to balance all these things right now, and at the moment it's on my table. Jed has made a few proposals, and I made a few sort of suggestions. And at the moment it's on my desk to try and get this figured out and make a decision, grab it, and go for it. And Jed is I think he's getting antsy because he wants to get going. He doesn't want to be behind the deadline, So sometime soon, as in like the past month or so, I have to make the decision on next year's series. So many choices. Okay, there's our first pass over this block then. I have cut one side of each of the lines and then cut a V to give some stress relief. So what we're seeing now is, from your point of view here, the right side, left side, these V's, the left side of the V from your point of view is the rain line that will be preserved. So I now have to come down on each of these V's and I have to cut the line on the other side. But if I just try to cut it, if I just try to come in here and cut the other side of this line, almost certainly it will break, because that would put stress, putting the steel into the wood squeezes the wood both sides, and it would stress this line and break it. So before I can cut these lines, I have to put in some stress relief. Which way are we going to do it? We're going to do it, I guess, starting at this end. So there's the line that will be there. And I'm going to cut. It's like what I just did with the V. It's like cutting the V release, but instead of doing it after you cut the line, you do it before you cut the line. And this is dangerous, because if I stress this, if I put too much pressure in here, it's going to pop the line off. Let's do it a little bit more. So that's a stress relief cut. And I can switch it around now. I'm now going to cut down with this knife, leaving what's on my left side and taking away what's on my right side. I can already see that that stress relief cut is too far away, so the next ones have to be closer. Now if you can see now, the wood is moving. The line itself stays, and that unwanted wood now is just, look at it, it's just floating up and away. And now if we go around once more to the back and put the knife in where I did the stress relief cut, that V should now just float away, leaving now the first of our rain lines proud on the wood. And we didn't pop anything off the first one. 99 more to go. So we have one rain line surrounded by its relief cuts. Now for this next one, the rain line is shorter, and we don't need a relief cut because the previous rain line acts as the relief. When they're close together, it's when they're far apart you need the separate relief cut. When they're close together, it's already there. So let's have a go here. See what's going on with the camera. Is the camera moving or something, or? I'm not sure how much is visible there. So we've got now 3 separate red lines visible. The first 2, line 1, 2, and then 3. And that's a rain line by itself, surrounded by its 2 relief cuts. I think you can see we've got a variation here. Look at this. It's pretty thin there. It gets a bit fatter here. It gets a bit fatter here. Right? Now, I'm not about to muck with it too much right now. After we do some test printing on this, we will see, and maybe some of these fatter parts might need to be trimmed down a little bit. But I can't do that right now because I don't know which side would need to be trimmed. Remember, if you look at the rain lines in the original print here, lots of the rain lines, where are we? They butt against color. So if I needed to trim one, I would trim from this side, not from this side. And I can't tell that till we do some test printing. They're pretty bashed up, you know. I'm not sure. After we do test printing, I'll decide what to do. And maybe I will take my own lines after we do test printing and I'll roughen them up like this. It's possible. So this block you're seeing me carve now, maybe I'll be attacking this with the knife, roughing up these lines a little bit. Not sure. I'm certainly not going to do it now. Could I chisel out between these groups? Well, later. I'm not going to do that right now, but yeah, this is going to be, this area here is going to get chiseled out. But I'm not going to mix and match now. I'm just going to go through and cut the lines first. You'll see it, whatever, not tomorrow, but another day. I like the comment here. You could be pointing to me and saying it gets a bit fatter here. Well, I've got the camera head up so you can't see my guts, but yeah, it gets a bit fatter in some places. So what's I saying? The carved lines appear much more thick than the lines in the actual print. I don't know. I think we're working at about the same level. What you're seeing here, what's just been carved, will appear, I think, pretty much just like what we're seeing here. You can see clearly now, the ones in the original, they weren't done with rulers. There's variation, there's thin, and there's thick, and then there's scratchiness. And I think we're working at about the same scale. Remember, this is an enlarged print, so we'll see. We can always make them thinner, but I can't make them thicker. I heard the ambulance a few times last night, you know, it's, my first guess is it's heat stroke, you know. Heat stroke people, but I don't know, of course, you know, whatever. Ambulances go back and forth all the time. We did get touched, one of our printers, one of our outside printers, the young man who's doing the Yoshida printing these days, Numabe-san. He's exactly my age. He's doing all the printing these days for the Yoshida family. And they had I don't know what word, tragedy, sad event in their family last week. His older sister passed away one evening a couple of weeks ago from heat stroke. So he's my age, just one shy of 70, and she would have been 3 or 4 years older. So yeah, I get to this stage, and the summertime can be really dangerous, you know. too much. See that it actually moves. If I try and cut the relief stroke too much, that wood on the right side starts moving, and that's the line. There's a little bit of flexibility there, but if I put too much pressure here, that line is gone. Out she goes. If I was just carving a random rain block that, sometimes the rain just goes random lines across the top of a print. And it's okay if I did pop or crack or miss one or something, nobody in the world would ever notice. But these rain lines are different. These rain lines are going to be visible and they match. You can see what happened. They match up with the places in the print. So if I just sort of got a bit careless and one of these disappeared, I can't just say, no one's going to notice, because that's not true. They are very much noticeable, each one by one. So I have to be a bit careful here. I don't have any, there's no wiggle room. And when you're making an original print, like some of the people watching the stream here, Karen or whatever, she's carving a bunch of things, a bunch of leaves in a tree or something like that. If one of them did happen to go pop, she doesn't have to fix that. There's just, one less leaf there. Maybe she's going to say, that's okay. But when you're doing a reproduction, you don't have that flexibility, so. I'm happy though. The wood is brittle, but it is also, what's the word? It cuts so cleanly and finely. It's brittle. And I think what I'll do, I'm thinking about it now, when we move forward to printing, the original one has these rain lines sort of all popped and chipped and, and I think my version now is going to start to get those automatically. Because this wood is so old and brittle, as we print from it, it's going to start to get like that, So I don't think I really need to rough this up, these lines. I think we're just going to print them straight. And as time goes by, not so much time, they will get roughed up quite naturally. How's our time? Not quite sure how to do this. It's 9 o'clock now. Not quite sure. We have a normal show and tell, but on top of that, there is another package that was delivered yesterday that I would kind of like to open and show you. So maybe what we should perhaps do then is let's do the show and tell today a little bit early. The normal schedule is 9:15 or so. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens when we get there. So how are we doing in our slow progress here? We've got now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rain lines chopped out. It's a living. It's a living. No disasters so far. Don't expect any disasters really. Bit of unevenness. Now you can see, where am I? Where's the poker here? Bit of a fat spot there, I think, too, and maybe a fat spot there. It's hard to tell. Could be a bit thin in the middle. Again, no adjustments at this point. We're going to run through. Once we've printed it, if there's areas that are a bit too fat like this, we'll shave off one side or the other to give it a bit more of a straight. There is. Can you see it? Where are we? I can't see it in real life, but I can see it on the screen. I think it's a dust mite, a Dani. Where are we? Somewhere on there? Just above my finger? I can't see it. Where did he go? Maybe I can tell if I look under the microscope. Where is it? I've lost him. I have no idea where it is. Where is he? No idea. It's gone. I can't tell. Upper left? I can't see it, I'm sorry. Edge of paper, so he's gone over. Has he gone off the edge? He's gone, okay, fair enough. It'll be, in Japanese, I think, I can't really sure. It's what they're called dani, a mite, I guess, M-I-T-E, mite. He's on the felt now. Am I going to kill him by mistake? I don't think so. These guys are pretty. I can't see it, I'm sorry. I don't know. He's on the table, he's on my finger, he's on my shirt, he's on my nose, I don't know. They're absolutely everywhere. I know, especially at tatami. The room I sleep in upstairs, the tatami room, in summer, they're everywhere. I know. I should be vacuuming more often. And I imagine, I saw a video somewhere once, Japanese, somebody had vacuumed tatami in summertime in a vacuum bag and then opened it up and then, did a microscopic examination. And it was just alive with all these dust mites, so. Well, he's gone now, wherever, so. Is he still around somewhere? I don't know. No idea. I don't think they bite human beings. Whatever. I don't know. What do they eat? They eat bits of dust and probably, there's the stuff that comes off our bodies, the skin flakes and stuff like this. I think that's their diet. I don't know. They're everywhere. I'm sure in Japan there are dust mites in the tatami. Over in the West, they're in the carpet, I guess. No idea. Today's action. There's also two here in the shop, or here in our ex-shop, and in fact there's one, he'll be behind me somewhere right now. We've got a whole bunch of small little, I don't know what they're called, we just call them jumping spiders. They're little tiny spiders, they're about a centimeter across, like whatever, roughly ½ inch or something to the Americans here. They live all over the place here, and when we had the actual shop, the staff, it divides into two groups, and me and Shiba-san are on one side, and Teiko-san and somebody else on the other side, and I want to leave him alone, like a little jumping spider. It's okay, it's not going to hurt anybody. He's probably eating the little mites, like the little creature we just saw. I don't know. And Shiba-san, Shiba-san, her and spiders, that's a thing, so she would never ever harm or touch one of these spiders at all. But the sort of problem is, this is a shop, and like people are browsing the prints, and all of a sudden they'll be in, ow! And a little tiny jumping spider has jumped out, and it's on the wall, and somebody is like freaking out a little bit. So I get it, because it's a shop, you have to sort of, you can't leave them like this, So there's this, friendly back and forth. I want to leave them, Shiba-san wants to leave them. Other staff members want to, kill on sight, whatever. So, but these days, with no customers and no shop, it's Dave's choice here. So I leave these things alone, and as a result, now there's little jumping spiders all over this shop. They're all over the place. And Watanabe-san, she doesn't care. She's learned that when she reaches into chup 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 chup, it's possible that a little guy jumps out. And I suppose before we eventually ever sometimes open up again, we'll have to, wash the place down or something. I don't know. But I always tend to go too far with those things. The experience back in Ome, when I first bought the house in Ome, the neighbor had a wisteria plant on his parking lot. And it grew a couple of tendrils over towards my kitchen. And the tendril of this wisteria brushed against the kitchen window, and I thought, hey, this is so cool, living in the country, blah, blah. So I open the kitchen window and leave it open, and the tendril comes in. This is fun, ha, ha, ha. We have a wisteria flower in our kitchen, so. And you know what wisteria are like, and whatever. So one thing led to another, and it became, it became obviously too much. We had to cut it back. But what I hadn't understood would also happen was a wisteria tendril comes in your kitchen and hangs around, and it's real cool, but also they are covered with ants. And what I had done without understanding it was that I had opened my window, let this wisteria tendril come in, come down to breakfast one morning, and there are ants everywhere. And if you're a homeowner, like this right away. You can't say, oh, they're so cute, they're so nice. It becomes instant war, because these guys will, they'll destroy your building, obviously, if you let them live and get hold, So because I was kind of relaxed about this, and this is so nice, the greenery and blah, 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 I got myself in a bit of big trouble there, Get the hang of this, it's okay. If there was nothing else distracting, you just sit here, go 1, 2, 3, 4, just carve these lines one after the other if there was nothing distracting. 12. Okay, we're getting close to time. Okay, let me finish this one then. Let me do this line. And then we've got to have a look at some other stuff here. Something else I forgot to mention earlier this morning, and I should have said it right up front. And a number of people, two, whatever, I guess that's true, a number of people wrote after the close of the last stream the other day. So a couple of people wrote with some suggestions on how to handle the color separations of the leaves we were doing. It was a very confusing, complicated way to do things, and a couple of people wrote in with some suggestions on how to handle it. And as it happens, neither of the suggestions actually worked. There's like some background here that I know about that maybe isn't always visible to other people. But so as it turns out, those particular two suggestions that were made the other day didn't work out. But no disrespect and no trouble, please. Anytime you think you can see a better way of doing something, or you want to show me where I'm wrong, or just make a suggestion, please go ahead. And it's quite possible we would, we would find some ideas. I am in no way always right. So, excuse me. So it is 15, so much for our early show and tell or whatever. Okay, let's just do what we can do. Zoom out. Okay. This is big, but it's not so heavy. Now, I know what's inside this because I heard from Jed. Jed said he was going to send me something, and Jed did send me something. So this came to me courtesy Jed Henry, our partner in crime. And he told me about this, a year or so ago. And I said, that looks kind of cool. It's not really my thing, but it looks kind of cool. And he said, yeah, you got to see this. So let's have a look. I was a bit nervous about showing this because there's sort of a sales aspect to this. Our show and tell is not really the QVC shopping channel. We show something and people say, oh my God, I got to go out there and buy that. We don't do that. I never pick things to show on our show and tell that we are selling in our shop. I was a bit nervous about this one because this is something that is selling out there, but I checked yesterday and I see now that it's sold out. So there is no sale aspect to this. It's a present from Jed. Let's just cut the tape, Dave. Just cut the tape. Is Jed watching today? I don't think so. Jed is, these days, he is busy. With 4 little kids at home, homeschooling. Jed-san is one busy little guy. How am I going to do this? It's a kit? What? a kit. I thought we were going to be able to pick up and show people. Some assembly required. What? Download and open the app. Tap the register icon. Find your assembly instructions. I don't have a phone. It's in pieces. It's in pieces. I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect that. It's a pile of plastic pieces. Well, actually, that's interesting because Dave here hasn't done a model in more years than he can remember. Do you know what this is then? Anyone with a link? I do. I have a link. I prepared for it. It's a kit. I thought I was going to pick this thing up and show it to you. Nanda. There's the link. And if you just, I don't have a search link. If you Google Jed Henry rickshaw figure or figurine, this company, what's the company's name? Jax, Jaxx. They contacted Jed a couple of years back and said, can we make some models with your designs? And I guess they talked money and they talked this and they talked back and forth, this and that. And the end result was Jed said, yeah, let's do this. And they did. They made some models. And I thought I was going to be able to pick this up and show it to you like this, but I'm sorry. This is not the way it works. Have we got the link there? Assembly stream next time. Should we do this? I can't build this on stream. I didn't. Well, there's two parts to it. One part is the Mario character in his rickshaw cart. And the second model, which I don't have, Jed was able to give me only one of the two. The second one is Koopa. Show some pieces, whatever. Let's, what can I do? Oh, I see. So it's big chunks. I've already broken it. No, it's assembly. It's big chunks. I don't have any idea what these things are these days. I guess I don't know how much is assembled already and how much isn't assembled already. And this is interesting. This is not done with any cooperation with the folks over at our favorite game company. This is Pirates. And we have a rickshaw cart. It's Jed's print. They have taken Jed's rickshaw cart print and made it into a three-dimensional little model. And maybe we could, let me think about this. I don't know how much of a fool of myself I want to make next time, but let's think about this. Maybe this is something we should build on stream next time. I can't even get the parts back together in the box. Oh, it's a fire flower, of course. It's the fire flower. So. Oh yeah, the bridge. Oh, heavy. This is heavy. Why? So I get the idea. There's going to be a bridge, there's going to be a chariot, and we've got a character here. I haven't seen the main character. He must be in here somewhere. Here we are. Okay, it's not really a big deal. It'll go together in 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, we should do it. Just do it next time then. There's a character here you can see. He's going to go in the cart, which will go on the bridge. We can put it together in a few minutes. And this is heavy. This is a thing that's going to sit on your desk. Whoa. I mean, this is heavy. Boom. And there's two of them, as I said. This is the right-hand side. The other one has its own bridge, and that character fits into this bridge. So yeah, well, maybe we'll do that. Let's put it together next time. And if Jedson is here, thanks very much for sending this to me. When he told me about this a year or so ago, I said I think I would really like to have one of these. And he said, "What? You figures? You're not into figures and stuff?" And no, I'm not into figures and stuff. But that print, that woodblock print that this is based on, that changed my life. It changed not only my life, it changed my life and a whole bunch of people around here. And it changed life for the entire Japanese world of traditional woodblock printmaking. So the publication of that print, the original rickshaw cart print, it changed, whatever, it sounds a bit dramatic, it changed the world. It changed a big chunk of the world. Woodblock printmaking had been on its last legs until Jed Henry one day sketched up that thing, turned it into a print. Somebody's linked it here. Chicken Meister has linked it here. So that was a life-changing and world-changing event. So when Jed showed me the idea that there was going to be this model of this thing, I was going to fork out. I said, "No problem, Jed, tell me where to sign up. I'll pay the $250. I don't care." He said, No, Dave, it's okay. Because I'm the designer, they allow me 2 or 3. I can give them, to whoever I want. So Jed sent me this as a present. But I would have happily bought it because I want this on my shelf. Dave doesn't collect figures. He doesn't collect models. He doesn't really collect anything these days. But I want this on my shelf because that print and making that print and talking about that print, that changed the world. I'm very happy that I was able to be part of that. So this was very special to me. So maybe whatever, I'll put it together. We'll show it tomorrow, or we'll put it together on stream. I've got no idea. I don't know what to do with this. So, but I was a bit disappointed. I thought I was going to be able to pick it out of the box and say, "Here it is. Here's the thing that changed the world." So whatever. So anyway, there we are. Let's move on. A couple of quick things to show you. We've got a few minutes left on show and tell. I don't know if my mother's watching here today. I haven't seen her name in here. I think she's off with my daughter today. I think they're having a day together. One of my daughters, her grandchildren, they're having the day together. So I don't think my mother is here. But models. Me and my brother, we had models. We were good at it. We were bad at it. I've had disasters with models when I was 8 or 10. They gave me a model of a Corvette Stingray that was way too complicated for my age group. Actually, I think a friend of the family, gave it to us or whatever. My parents would never have made a mistake like that. Maybe I was like 8 or something, and they gave me a model that you really had to be 15 or 16. And I tried, but I didn't have the whatever. I probably had the brain for it, but I didn't have the ability. And I screwed it up. It was supposed to be a Corvette that would drive around the room, and it didn't do a whole lot of driving, but whatever. But later on, I made models. Yes, of course, I made models. So I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this one. So. Okay, let's have a look. We've got a few minutes left here. We've got show and tell. We've got time for 1, 2, 3 prints. Excuse me, I got a catch in my throat here today. First couple of prints in our show and tell. They're going to be fairly easy to dispose of. These are book pages. We talked about book pages the other day. Dave never buys book pages. We're going to have the same discussion all over again. But there's a couple of things that are interesting about these. That light is too bright. These are pages from a book that was published back in 1770, but with a qualification. These are reproductions. These are not pages from the original book. Back in 1770, there was a book published called Ehon Butai Ogi. Ogi is fan, Butai is the stage, and Ehon means a picture book. And it was Katsukawa Shunsho. This is his what do you call it? I don't know, seal. It was a tsubo, a pot. I don't know why he had a seal for a pot, but it's Katsukawa Shunsho, the same guy who designed that book page print we showed you the other day of the Poets series. Anyway, he was most famous for his actor prints, and he published a book, or somebody published a book with his designs back in 1770, and they took kabuki guys, kabuki people, kabuki actors, and they put them in the shape of a fan. And the thought is actually back in the day, the book may have been published as a book, and it may have been published as single sheets, and these designs, perhaps, nobody really knows, they could have been on a fan that people were buying in the actual theater. We don't know. Now, the point to look at today on these things is, this is a reproduction book made in about 1917. So about just over 100 years ago now. The original book would be 250 years old. This reproduction is about 150 years old. And this is something I want to show you. This is a mark that we see on quite a large number of Taisho era prints. And I don't know how to read it. I don't actually know what the purpose of the specific wiggles are. It doesn't seem to be a character that I could recognize. But we know what it is. This is the mark of a publisher where, what can I say, the editing work and the background of this was done by Hashiguchi Goyo, the famous Taisho era designer who published great many bijinga prints, the famous woman with the makeup, the one with the iPhone, prints like this. This was Hashiguchi Goyo. But before he became mostly known as a print designer, he was the research guy behind the Taisho era reproductions of a number of woodblock prints. And this reproduction of the Shunsho book was done under his research whatever guidance. So he would have said, no, not this yellow, let's use that yellow, no, what this. He didn't do any carving and printing, and he wasn't the actual publisher, but he was the authority, the research authority behind this. And this book was published in reproduction form, and then a set of books called the Yamato Nishiki-e, and they are Oban size or larger size reproductions, 20 volumes, all edited and helped by Hashiguchi Goyo, and his mark appears on them. And I have to say, actually, though, that when you compare different Taisho era reproductions, the ones with his mark I really don't find all that pleasurable. The paper quality is not really the finest paper. Some of the reproductions are made, the registration is quite a bit off, and some of the pigment choices, I think, are really, really way off. They're in no way anything like the pigments that were used in the old days. So for me, to speak of Hashiguchi Goyo, when I see this mark, this is not grade A stuff for me at all. And later, maybe whatever, when we get further on in these books, we'll find something else. We can do an A-B comparison. His stuff to me, his reproduction stuff to me, it was a waste of time. Just get busy with making the beautiful prints. He put this behind him, got busy with making prints, and then up and died, tuberculosis or whatever. Anyway, enough of that. Let's finish off today with this, because this is a ton of fun. This is a ton of fun. What we're looking at, again, it's pages that have been ripped out of a book and pasted onto a piece of stupid cardboard. They're originally book pages from one of those very, very thin, little, delicate books. And the genre we are looking at here is called Toba-e. Toba. Somebody made a Wikipedia page about it. Doesn't have any illustrations, which is really helpful for a Wikipedia page, but it does explain what the genre was. So you can have a look at this. And what we're looking at here, this says, so we can read some of this. It says, Tenma Mikoshi. Mikoshi is the festival cart, and Tenma is a station in Osaka, and that might have been the older name for what we now call the Tenjin Matsuri. It's one of Japan's biggest, most gigantic festivals. Cancelled this year because you know why, but it's a Tenjin Matsuri. This is a book that would have been about that or whatever, done in the Toba-e style. And this was hugely popular in 18th century, 1700s, whatever. when Hokusai was young, stuff like that. When Hokusai didn't invent this kind of stuff. When he grew up, this was a popular style, and he, of course, incorporated this stuff into his own work. And this drawing and writing style is just hugely, hugely fun. Clearly, it's a precursor to what we now think of as manga and cartoons and stuff like this. And the characters are always drawn with these funny, spindly legs and arms and grotesque mouths and faces. I don't know what's going on. We can read some of it. It says, Senzai Daku Manzai Daku. Senzai Daku Manzai Daku. I don't know what they're referring to. Manzai is a kind of theater. Senzai Daku. And without the rest of the book, I haven't a clue. It's just one scene from the Matsuri. We've got some more of these pictures, and later on we'll look at them and explore them later. But this is one of the early... There's a bunch of early threads that later on came together to tie into the thing that we know as Japanese manga. Part of it is the Hokusai sketchbook, the manga. Part of it is stuff like this. A whole bunch of different threads came together. And it's a ton of fun. And people that sometimes say Japanese have no sense of humor. Whatever. I don't think so. So if you're curious about what this is, Google more Toba-e, Toba pictures, Toba manga, Toba-e, and there's lots of stuff on the net out there. And this is just a random stuff. I must have picked it up in one of the bookshops, you know, a buck or $2 or whatever. It's a piece of junk. It's worth absolutely nothing. It's a torn book page. But it's one little tiny piece of history, a bunch of the threads that came together eventually to become Japanese manga. This festival these days, you know, it's cancelled this year, but also what's become common these days is they have what's called the gyaru mikoshi. This is a mikoshi, and in the old days, of course, it's the young men of the neighborhood who do it. But that festival, the Tenjin Matsuri, started some years ago, I don't know, 5, 10, 100 years ago, I'm sorry, I don't know. They had what they call the gyaru mikoshi, where one of the shrines is carried by a group of tough young ladies. And if you Google that, you'll see Japanese mikoshi ladies or women or girls or whatever. And you don't mess with that. You don't mess with that. So whatever, those guys are rough. So anyway, okay. So a bit of a random end to the stream here today. What's coming up next in these books, we don't know. We're just going to take them as they come. I can take myself a little peek on what's going to be happening tomorrow. Oh, Kampai in our next stream. Okay, today's Saturday. I'll be back here Monday morning, and you know what we're going to be doing? We're going to be carving exactly, continuing on our key block here. So thank you very much. John Becker's on it. Gyaru Mikoshi, a YouTube video. Yes, tomorrow's the next prints we're going to look at are something to do with drinking. Okay, guys, thanks very much. I am out of here. Let's pull up the outside camera for a minute. Typhoon coming. Eh? We're not going to get direct hit from the typhoon. It's going to be it's going past in the Pacific, but we are going to get wet, and we are going to get a bit windy, and we have to make sure we close all the windows. But mostly, it's going to cool things down a whole lot. Okay, guys, thanks very much. See you next time. Signing off for now. Bye-bye.